What up, world? Digimon Mac. What? Coming in with a BT14 slash EX5 special, and we're kicking it off with Purple Milk. Yes, guys, it ain't restricted yet. This deck can still be run near enough at full power till March, and then that's when we'll just go over to the blue package. Let's face it, that's what's going to happen. But whilst we've got the full kit, let's cook with it. So in this video, I'm going to go over my deck rendition, build, all the tech and good stuff. So if this is the video for you, then stick around and enjoy. And if you're new to the channel and you like what you see, then make sure you subscribe and turn the notification bell, because I do videos on the reg. Right, let's get down into the ratios and the good stuff. Starting off with the eggs, we run a solid 4, and it is going to be a Tsuyamon. So this is from the starter deck 16. So here is actually really good because it is not a once per turn, and if you have 6 or fewer cards in hand, you get to draw one. Very powerful in this strategy because you're trashing a lot of cards and you're swinging a lot. So being able to essentially net one card and keep it is actually pretty sick in the grand scheme of things. So that's it for the eggs, short and sweet. Going over to the rookies, standard 12. So let's read them out. So we got obviously the start deck 16 Gabumon, rocking there at 4 because this is the one that you ideally just want to kind of get in raising. Start a main there as well. If your opponent has a Digimon, just gain the memory. Really good, especially if you tag that up with the Tamer. You could be starting off at 4 memory at times, which is nice. Inheritable, trash one, draw one, trash one. Always good. It is a once per turn, so it's not too cracked. Then we go over the new support, which is going to be the card that is going to be restricted as of March, and that's going to be Gabumon X Antibody EX5, an absolutely nutty card that you do want to be running at 4 for sure. It can Evo for 0 on top of Tsuyamon, and also Gabumon there as well, which is great. And if you didn't want to, if you want to kind of cheekily pass turn, you can do, because it can cost 1 on top of a level 2 there, offers an egg, so always good. But it's on play and when digivolving, so you're able to reveal top 3 cards of your deck and then grab a card with Garurumon or X Antibody in their names amongst them, and then place the rest to the bottom of your deck. If you basically did this effect, you're able to trash one card from your hand. So really just powerful stuff. This is an absolutely fantastic searcher. But the thing that got it massively banned slash restricted, let's get that correct, restricted, is the alters. Is effectively we're able to return 2 Digimon cards, or 2 cards that are basically not eggs, to the bottom of our deck to prevent its deletion, which is a once per turn effect. Very strong here, and ideally you do want to get that in your stack for that extra layer of protection. So this is probably going to throw a lot of people into a bit of confusion, and I'll explain why I do run this card. So we do run the BT5 Gabumon at 2. So this obviously can't evolve on top of our egg, which, you know, I'm not colorblind, I'm very aware of that. But the thing I like about this is that it actually gives us the ability to get an additional search off on top of obviously this there as well. If you obviously throw this down, then you've then Evo on top with the X Antibody, because outside of purple, or within purple, there's not necessarily a searcher purple Gabumon yet. It's been annoying, so its searchability to get other pieces can be quite difficult to do. So having this enables us to essentially search out our pieces and keep them without any form of like trashing or whatever. Another good thing as well, it actually works well with our Garurumon from the starter deck, because if it's propped on security, we are able to then play out a Gabumon card, which we can't play this because it's not Gabumon in name. So this we can't basically play out that from the security effect. The only thing we can play out is obviously this Gabumon and the other purple Gabumons that we do run. But the fact that we can actually play this out from hand or trash means that we can effectively get a body out on board and then search 2 pieces, which is great, which is absolute value right there. And yeah, that's the reason why I do run it at 2. Don't run it any more than 2, because obviously we don't get to a point where we just have this in hand and it's like, great, well, I can't Evo on top of my egg, I'm just gonna have to basically give my opponent 3 and get a search off. But 2 is just a good sweet spot, and enables you to just leverage some form of searching capability whilst also having another body out on the field, which is all good stuff. Then lastly, for the other two Gabumons, we do solely run the absolute one-offs. This one's absolutely fantastic because it is not once per turn, and it basically draw one, trash one, always good. And then this one right here on deletion, we're able to draw two and then trash one, which is also nice. Out of the two, this one's alright, but this one is great if you can get that in raising. Very, very powerful card, especially with this new support that we've got. So that concludes there for the Gabumons. Do run a solid 12. Then going on to the champions. Champions, we keep it very, very clean. Starting off with the starter deck 16 Gabumon. This just overall is just fantastic. That security effect is great in order for us to kind of get some board presence. Also, getting a free Tamer play is huge in this deck. If you can get your Matashida out pretty early, you're cooking. It's an absolute game changer. You realize the difference between not having Matashida out and having Matashida out, because it just helps you just kind of gain that memory where you need it, because mostly we are trashing a lot of cards, and you know, Matashida just facilitates on that. On top of that there as well, when evolving, draw one and then trash one. So effectively we are drawing two cards when we are even into this, because we draw one due to obviously just the game flow, and also then drawing an additional card because of its natural effect. It's inevitable. Once again, draw one, trash one. Really good stuff. Then to round off the actual just normal Garurumon line, then we just finish up with the start deck 6 Garurumon, rocking there at a 2. Draw one, trash one, not once per turn. Very strong stuff right here. You just can't go really wrong with these Garurumons for if you're going to build strictly the purple package. And then once again, another card that is on the chopping block from March is going to be your Garurumon X Antibody. This is a very nice card to have because once again it has the same inevitable as the Gabumon X Antibody. Just means that you have basically two ways to negate being deleted from battle, which is pretty nice in this deck because we do a lot of swinging when we start ramping up. But it has got a Wendy evolving. Evo's on top of Garurumon for 0, but if you don't Evo on top of Garurumon, it does cost you 3 right there, which can be a bit hefty, especially if you don't have Matashida out. But when evolving, draw 2, which is always the worth, and then trash 2, which is great. Good filtering, all the good stuff. And then obviously if it's evoed on top of a Garurumon or has X Antibody in the inevitables, you're able to gain a memory. So once again, really good worth if you do have your Matashida out, as well as evoing on top of one of your Garurumons, which is always the value. So that concludes that for the champions. Solid 10. Going on to the ultimates. Ultimates, once again, very clean package right here, and that is going to simply just be clear cut, no messing about. Going with the starter decks 16 where Garu, and then with the X Antibody variant there as well, which is not restricted come March. So we do get this card pretty much at full strength and continues to be that way. But between these two, very solid in what they do. Obviously there isn't a router on this, so just obviously be vigilant on that if you've not got the updated version. But its top effect actually works fine. It's Evo on top of a purple Digimon for free, and then also if you Evo on top of a Garurumon in name, it also costs 3, so not really much difference on that one. But when attacking, by trashing one card in your hand, unsuspend this Digimon. Really good for you to essentially do some low swinging and then effectively evo into this, setting up some kind of ace play shenanigans, whilst then obviously not being suspended. But then also it's when attacking, when you are swinging with Melga, is that if you trash a card, you're able to delete a level 4 or lower body, which is pretty nice. Get rid of some pesky floodgates, get rid of some blockers. It's a really good card. The fact that people and Melga have got some way to kind of control the board while still doing their game plan, just going for face, is always the worth. And then the Garurumon X Antibody version, this right here, if you don't Evo on top of a Garurumon, or Garurumon, Garurumon, let's get that right, it will cost you 4, so a bit steep on that front. So ideally you do want to Evo on top of a Garurumon if you can, because it is going to cost you 1. So when digivolving, by trashing 2 cards in your hand, unsuspend this Digimon. Once again, getting that nice little cheeky swings in there, which is always good. Then if Garurumon
or X antibody is in this Digimon's Digivolution card, you may return one Digimon with Garurumon or X antibody in its name from your trash to hand. Really good recursion right there. It's ideally what you'd be wanting to ensure that you can obviously execute your top end combo. Also, its inheritable is very good because it enables you to get another swing in with Melga, or if you're going into Omnimon there, because if you trash a card, you can unsuspend this Digimon. Beautiful. And that's obviously if you have got Garurumon or Omnimon in its name. Very strong stuff. So nice and easy split, rocking a solid 8. So going on to now the Megas. Let's see what good. So for MetalGarurumon Aces, because it's just a great card. 2 MetalGarurumon's X antibody from BT9. Really good in terms of that nice bounce. Able to unsuspend, got blocker, all the good stuff that you want. And being able just to bounce stuff is a great way of, or a different option of removal. Obviously, this deck is all about that deletion, but having the kind of the tapping into the blue side of things means that you can get that nice bit of bounce there. But it is very important that you evo on top of your MetalGarurumon Ace, because otherwise you will not be able to evo from your... Well, actually, no, you will be able to... No, you won't be able to evo on top of your Garurumon. So definitely a big thing right there when you are going up your chain. But we do run one MetalGarurumon X antibody that we can evo on top of our Garurumon if needs be for the cost of 4. But obviously, if we do Digivolve on top of a MetalGarurumon, we can pay the cost of 1. So this is a cheeky blocker, so still got a nice good blocker potential, still 12k. But when Digivolving, we're able to give an absolute super strong Ice Wall effect. Instead of an opponent losing 2 memory for attacking, you lose 4. So you're pretty much, the swing that you're going to do, it will be the only swing you'll be able to do, unless you've got some ways to recur memory. Once again, really strong stuff. And then also when attacking, by returning a Digimon card from your trash to the bottom of your deck, delete one of your opponent's Digimon with the same level as the card trashed. So selection removal is always the way. Like I say, we trash a lot of cards ranging from 7s to 3s. So being able to just have that option to be like, yeah, I'll just bot deck this to delete that big body is pretty naughty right there. But realistically, to kind of keep that aggro, these two, well, you're definitely going to be needing that. But Melga X antibody from BT9 is definitely a very good aggro card there to have at your arsenal. And then lastly, we do run a Omnimon X antibody from BT10. This is very strong. It's absolutely strong, especially if the opponent is at, let's say, 1 security and you need to swing for game, because what this can do, it's going to cost you 7 because we don't run an actual normal Omnimon in this list, but realistically when we are swinging, we are having X antibody in the source in order to kind of evo into this, so a bit of a pseudo blitz in that sense. But when Digivolving, return all of your opponent's Digimon with the highest level to the bottom of the opponent's deck. So right here, the fact that it's level base, huge. If they've got 2 Mons at the same level, we're taking them both out. Glorious. One big ass swing that's happening right there. Also, when Digivolving and when attacking, so we'll basically get 2 effects going off here, is by placing 1 X antibody or 1 level 6 card from the Digivolution card to the owner's deck, reveal your opponent's security, trash 1 card from them, and then obviously then they stack the security down and shuffles the deck. So basically what will happen is that if it was at 1 security, let's just say like that, I would then check, oh yeah, can see it's that, trash that, and I've swung for game because there's nothing else to check, which is just good stuff. The fact that as well that this effectively, if it stays around on board, it's inheritables that it will have the battle protection. Obviously you can actually just outright delete it with an option. It's not immune to deletion effects, but if it, you just can't be swung into, so it's very hard to deal with unless they can actually just pop a level 7 somehow. So the only way I'm going to get around that is, once again, an option, or if it's a Digimon effect, then effectively it's going to be if they can pop the highest level Digimon or DP higher than it. Very strong card right here. It's a question I could bump it to 2, but you know, right now it feels like it's just right, because we do have cards that can effectively just grab that card quite efficiently when I do need it. So that concludes for the Megas. Going on to the Tamers. So Tamers, we just keep it a buck. So we do with the Matashida, and then we also go with the Analog Youth there as well. And whilst we're here, we might as well get the options in there too. We do go in with the 1 X antibody proto form, and then we also run the 2 X antibody. Still in mixed minds if I actually just want to run 3 X antibody, but we will discuss the ratios in a little bit. 2 Wisdoms and then 2 Lament of Friendship. So let's go over the Madashida. This, realistically, I was running it at 2. I felt like I wasn't seeing it enough. Bumped up to 3, because what you're going to be needing to do is ensuring that you get this out relatively early, because it is a memory setter, but its all turns effect is so good in combination with the MetalGarurumon, because if you trash a card, or if when one of your effects trashes a card from your hand, by suspending this Tamer, gain a memory. And the fact that it's all turns is just great. So if we can make MetalGarurum's effect quite potent in terms of stealing that turn off of a Blast Evo, right there, if you've not already tapped your Madashida, want to get this out early. The more you have, the more potent it is. Analog Youth is just great for you to get stuff in the trash early, search out your key pieces. Very cost efficient. If my stack was to die, I'm able to suspend this Tamer, gain the memory, and also hatch an egg in a hatch an egg, which is just, once again, great stuff. Could warrant running that at 3, but I think 2 is just working quite nicely at the moment. Then, like I've mentioned, we do run the X antibody proto. So this is the new X antibody that's been released in EX5, and it is good, but I just don't know if it's great in Purple Melga at the moment, because this obviously just accelerates the deck as it is, but this can come in use in terms of you to kind of recur 1 Digimon from your trash, which is nice with its all turns effect, and it can help you reduce a cost of a X antibody Evo if you're even on top of a non-X antibody card, which is good because we do have cards which do cost 1 to Evo. So by playing this, effectively, we can just basically make it free, and then we're able to tuck this in the stack, which is always great. So it kind of keeps us in the game, but I do miss the when attacking, essentially kind of turboing up my line more efficiently, and obviously if something did happen, I'm able to then get the inheritables off, which is good. Also, if it's procced from security, gain the memory, that can really just trip out a lot of plays from the opposition. So I'm still in mixed minds just to really just ramp it up to 3 and just call it a day, but I'm currently, it's okay, but yeah, we'll see what happens. Then Wisdom, which you know what the promos do. This just obviously great for, once again, searching, banking up some memory for us to do some future plays right there. The reason why we didn't want to go a bit too deep with the Wisdom trainings is because, you know, we do run just solely blue cards. Well, not say purple memory boost, let's just say. We do run blue cards, and we just don't want to kind of bottom deck those off the searches because they are quite key. The blue metal Garurumon X antibody is a very strong card, and we do want to get that in our hand quite early. So this just facilitates just kind of those cheap evos if we need to. And then the Lament of Friendship. So obviously I mentioned about running either 2 Omni-X's? Well, this card right here actually is rather useful because the actual main effect is that we can just return one Digimon card from trash to hand. It's just a flat out, just basic, just calling at that point, but not color restricted. So if we did need to get that Omni X from trash, we can do from playing this, and we can also give one of our stack on deletion. Play this card without paying its cost until the end of your opponent's turn. So really good ways to kind of keep your mon sticky. And that's what we want. We don't want to essentially lose a stack. And if we lose a stack, what could happen is that we make this sticky. Obviously, the deletion goes off. We can proc the Analog Youth, try and steal back turn, and reduce their amount of memory, because the deletion has still happened. It's not negating the deletion. And then obviously we can replay out our Garurumon. Granted, we have lost some of the sources, well, majority of the sources, depending on how far you went up the line, but it means that we still have a body out on field to basically maximize our plays a little bit more, unless they kind of pop us twice from that point, which is rather unfortunate. But the Menet Fetch is a really solid card here. I think definitely running it at solid 2 is nice, nice to have. But that concludes for the options and Tamers. Very solid lineup. So that's pretty much the deck, guys. Tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments. Obviously, this is just kind of like the framework. Obviously, any tweaks that you want to apply, you apply there, not a problem. There's probably a bit of an argument that, you know, increasing the new MetalGarurumon X antibodies to 2 maybe, but I feel like it's a good card, but I feel like this one is still the nuts. I feel like BT9 is still the nuts right here. And I know people say the blue base is better, which, to be fair, blue base has a lot more kit. It gives the stack a little bit more oomph, but I just kind of want to cook with the purple one just whilst we've got it really at full power, and then when the restrictions do hit, then, you know, bye bye purple, and hopefully it'll get its own unique line just to give it a bit more support. But if you enjoyed the video, smash it like a standard. Stay safe, stay fly, and I'll catch you next one. D-Dread off the mic.